And now, yes, we have Annie Petrie Sauter.
Oh, I got ants. Get over. I've never. Oh shit. I didn't want to turn it on because it makes that noise. Yeah, that ring. When somebody else was reading.
Andy, close to the microphone.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Max. Okay. This last night we were all hanging around talking about life and innocence lost and Vietnam and the war and changes, and so I went and I got this poem, and the only place I could find it was on my computer in some version of Dogpile that's turned into dog shit over the years. And so I'm going to try to read it off here. I think I can do it. I've never really tried to do this before. I'm going to give it a shot, though. Reposted here is the remembrance of the 40th anniversary of my son, Human Bean Wilder. Died 1/21/73. Was published by Bright Hill Press in 1993. And it's about being pregnant and then getting beaten and attacked at Nixon's anti-inaugural anti-demonstration. So it's called Dancing with My Baby at Nixon's anti-inaugural ball, January 1973. Hard as ice, gray rain falls on old snow. The teepee stands, poles and mud, exposing the gap where the need for updraft has been outdistanced by the receding snow, a muddy gash, emphasizing an even more pressing need for spring. There is no road or driveway. No, to get here you have to walk down from the dirt road from Brian's house, alongside its paintless, heatless, tin-roofed southern presence, around to the back, where the warped slant of the tin roof above the doorway is corroded with time and piss from where we used to pee out the window on the darkest of nights between thunderclaps, and then listen as it sloshed and settled under the ancient wooden steps where the snakes slept. Still, farther down the hill lay the blanketed cold frames and the spot where some fool had tried to convince Delaney that even she could plant a viable dahlia. Slide down the red clay split in the field to the edge of the swollen creek. Cross over one step at a time, foot after foot on the wooden planks, also laid out, some floating on the rushing water, branches, debris, wedged as if stone against the torrent. Some semi-pneumatic, but all creating a passage over the muck and flood. Once across, then you had to face the fennel, dense and purple, acres and acres of the dead 7-foot fennel stalks. You could only feel your way. You were blind from here on. At the far edge of the wood, the green canvas teepee, invisible from the road, and in any case, separate from another world, a different language spoken here, mutually incomprehensible one to another, they do not exist. If the boy from the brick house, from the road, passes with his silent father, with their hunt dogs, their guns, all nod in greeting, but it is a dream. Dissociative. Disconnected, as if watching old home movies, double exposures of life, where suddenly Grandma is swimming up the driveway, unaware of her asphalt predicament. Women wrap their nakedness in scarves, pulling them loosely around their breasts. Men pull up easy jeans over stained long johns, slowly, not as if in reaction, We lived there, in that very, very small space, 5 or 6 of us regularly, sometimes more, in 13 feet of canvas green diameter, a circle of bedroom, living room, kitchen, hospital, with only 2 holes to look out of. One pinned shut with wooden sticks, a stabbed stake at heat, at conservation. The other only an open hole above, small, too, changeable with the winds. It is here that the smoke rises, that sunlight and moonlight enter, here where it rains and snows, inside. It is a hole framed with pine poles, framing the only non-human content, landmarks consistency of a sort, pinholes of starlight in a crowded darkness. Here, where the only other we see is the faces of each other, closely, very, very closely. We are now December's children. I, Delaney, am like that teepee, veined, skin stretched over sheltering roundness. I too glow with the red glow illumination at the edge of the wood when evening comes and mail arrives, but carries no news. I walk back from Tick Creek, carrying no word, only provisions from a run to town. Over my shoulder, in a flannel pillowcase, I carry a pouch of powdered milk tied with leather thong, 10 oranges, 5 potatoes, 3 cans of tuna, and a candy bar. So, yes, we will eat. With cold backs and warm fronts, we will read aloud around the fire. But it's on staples of Hess, Black Elk, 7 Arrows, and Mao that we will survive the cold nights of sleeping in wet wool. We who, like turkeys, stay out in the rain with silver flute and drum. We have danced through the downpour, singing our alien songs to well-rooted fennel. Sing songs of hitching rides, from those without money and cars with bad tires, songs of feast food left on tables, stuck at truck stops, songs of purification, cold water washings in America's gas stations, in their unheated restrooms, our sacramental chalice always involving paper cups pouring over fishy bodies onto tile floors that are always somehow freezing and flooded with water. Dressed in my glad rags, I cross over that creek, my belly molded in clay. I place my face to the rush. I ladle up water, hoping to drink in the flow, its clarity, its sense of direction. But really, we only wet our lips on the dreams of each other. The January moon carries news. Sliding down the poles as stark white frost, it glares at the white enamel basin as it lies. Ready? By the door, the rebellious fetoscope, newly liberated from the local clinic, shines boldly, but the sterilized laces and scissors, all wrapped up in the newsprint with the black and white headlines blandly stating the death toll of Nixon's Christmas bombings of Hanoi and Haiphong, know what they're really dressed for. They are not fooled or lulled by the ever-smiling faces on the Chinese manual entitled bravely The Barefoot Doctors. I emerge from the fennel, approach the door. I turn my back on the cruel moon. I deny the darkness created by my own form, blocking the moonlight, believing now that only the sheer force of my will can save us. I reach through the hole. I feel for the matches. In a rage, I strike their wet heads against stone, still believing that somehow light will rise from these sticks. I ignite small splits of cedar, send up my messages, all my only communications with you, through that small black parabola into which even solid pine poles vanish. Like a penniless hippie I Ching, fire below, snow above, runs down canvas cheek, a thaw. In morning I sit on Brian's porch and wait for a ride. You are gone to D.C., to the riot. Belly rounding in sun, sculpted in ebony, the black maternity sweater, bought by my mother as her only acknowledges of my predicament. I am flying to tell you, karmic father of my child, that I love you, But that means from now on, you will have to pack your own wheel bearings, that we can no longer define who we are as not the other, but there will not be time. On my welfare check ticket, food traded for air. I pray that this plane will bring us together, but caught in the fury, caught unaware, gasping through the pink tear gas beneath the Washington Monument, that pink gas so thick I can no longer find you, the dam of my will can no longer hold. And it is in the flood of my breaking water, so much is lost. As to the tune of an ambulance siren we dance at Nixon's anti-inaugural ball. Back from the road by the mailbox, we walked down from Tick Creek carrying this lifeless remnant of a dream. With a flick of some counterculture wrist, we stole from the morgue. Somehow now, all the scams mean nothing. So what if we cheated the man out of this small autopsy body that yielded no secrets despite such torture? Now will we cheat ourselves too out of the grief and pain which is rightfully ours? Small pine box, feathers, shovel, we file through the forest as we dig in the snow, as if we know what we're doing. But all I can think of is wounded knee. We are dancing the ghost dance. We are walking through death, so certain that no one may harm us in our ceremonial shirts. But now, I know I am naked. I know I'm alone. Small silver bottle, lovingly filled with unused breast milk. I no longer believe it contains even a shred of sweetness or comfort. I no longer believe in the promise of sun and warmth contained in the bright, round oranges and the yellow feathers someone took from a flicker as they fell into the grave. Don't they know that such things cannot carry the little bird skyward, that he will never float on warm thermals? And the last piece, a small leather snuggly meant to bind baby to bosom. You don't want to bury it. As if what? You really believe such things can be bound together as an innocence lost, that you can bring it back with such incantations, with some spell, unable to speak? I stand in the circle, hand in hand, as in turn we let go. We shovel the dirt, clumps of red clay, frozen spoonfuls, mouthfuls, into the hole. I hear the slow singing of circles, unbroken. I walk away. Alone at the teepee, on all fours I enter. Crawling through the door, I see the can of tuna, just left there, obviously offering no spiritual value, unlike the oranges or feathers, just left here, unnoticed, not a part of the morning. Still hungry. I eat it. Still hungry.
I'll make it explain, so maybe not.
That one was 9
And just
minutes.
obviously I'll have the one where it's switching.
I got
You
time
want to
this
do
time.
during your time?
Okay.
That's right.
Here's one. This one is called, it's like explaining a dream. It's like explaining a dream to somebody. I seduced myself, and you were there. I drank to an oblivion that I once knew. Some little place, you know, the kind of place, far out little cafe where women could be women, even in slippery, wet sweat and red dresses with stains in the pits and balls popped into side pockets and long shots shot, and we could dance real slow, real fast, and it was a she trick and a kind of he trick too, involving sheetrock, just right for putting things through, like your head or your foot, or a random ball peen or a claw of a hammer, and light bulbs hung exposed to the works in their filaments, and old flimsy and vintage like real silk lingerie, and we flicked and fucked, and I made so much noise that the neighbors blushed and talked, and I didn't care. And then when I woke up, I had pissed the bed, and it wasn't even warm, not anymore, and there was all that damn laundry to deal with now, and the broken glass path kissed my feet, leaving rose petals floating in the wine. back when my kegel muscles meant something when they spoke. Back then, when I was still young, and you're still your mean squeeze.
Okay. I'm just going to say we can just flow by you staying there. We'll just continue.
Sure. But I still gotta get to do some meetings somehow.